How's the progress going for you?
Progress is going pretty good. The knee is fine. Just everyday progress. I try to get better each day, and just take it one day at a time.
Are you kind of anxious just because everyone else is going the full reps and you're kind of just sitting there watching? Are you kind of anxious to get out there and kind of really get going?
A little bit. It's my competitive nature to get out there and go out there and be out there with my friends and my teammates. But I know the process, and I just have to wait my turn until I get healthy.
What do you try to get out of this spring, since you can't do a lot of the physical stuff? What do you try to get out of this spring?
Just really leadership and just leading those guys and getting that unity together and make sure that everyone is on the same page and just grow mentally and make sure that I become a student of the game and get better that way.
You were in this situation last year. What do you tell guys like Kelly Bryant and Tucker Israel who are in the exact same situation that you were, that if you do what you need to do, you can have some success pretty quick?
Just don't press anything. Just take it one day at a time, and just enjoy the process. Don't try to make it as big as people try to say it is and put pressure on you. So just go out there, do what you did, pretty much in high school. That's the reason why you're here. So just go out there. It's a new process, and enjoy it.
Along those same lines, what have you been telling Nick?
Same thing. Nick knows the process. He's been around for the past 2 or 3 years, and he just got to go out there and do what he can do, and just lead the team so far.
This is new territory for you, where you aren't playing; you're almost student coaching in a way for spring. Are you kind of learning on the fly, just what that entails when you're mentoring?
I'm always learning. Each day I try to get better. I try to pick Coach Sweeney, Coach Streeter, and Elliott and Scott. Each day try to get their mind and their game plan and what they really want to do on offense and the different strategies. So each day is just learning something new.
How hard was it to not play the bowl game?
It was kind of hard. My first bowl game, and something I always wanted to do. As a recruit, just playing a bowl game, but it was fun. I enjoyed myself and the time down there, and I congratulate Cole. He played his butt off, and all the seniors, and it was just a fun process.
How was your relationship with Coach Streeter? You've been hurt ever since he got here.
I knew about him, during the recruit, but once he got here, we started clicking, and things been going well so far.
Coach Sweeney has talked about how quick you're coming along in the rehab process. Are you even farther along than you thought you would be at this point?
I'm guessing so. I'm not sure how long the process is. They don't have a set time for when the ACLs should be fully healthy or not. So I'm just taking it one day at a time, and my body is telling me how I feel. So
When it comes time to play games in the fall, do you change the way you play in any way? In any way, as far as deciding when to run and when not to do?
Not at all. Injuries is part of the game. I can't control if I hurt myself, and it would just happen to be me to tear my ACL. But my game process or the way I play isn't going to change. I'm gonna run when I need to, and I'm gonna pass when I need
to. Chad Kelly and Sam Cooper played in the game 5 months after tearing their ACLs. You won't have games 5 months after, but can that be realistic? Do we full go within 5 months?
I'm not even sure. It's something you have to ask Denny Poole and the doctors. I just tell them what they want me to do, and just take it one day at a time.
Do you have any timetable as far as cutting, running, any of that?
Not at all.
Do you have any doubt that you'll be there for opening day?
I don't. I think I will be, but it just depends how my knee is holding up and what the coaching staff want me to do. So.
Not from a timing standpoint, your work with the receivers and skills and drills, summer workouts, you still go along with that?
I think so. I'm, just like I said before, it depends what Denny Poole and those guys want me to do at the time. And if I can go, then I'm gonna go. If not, then I just have to wait and just come here and be around the guys and teach them up.
You able to work upper body stuff?
I work out the same way. I do leg stuff and my upper body. The workout doesn't change.
What's your latest weight?
Maybe a week ago it was about 205.
Last year you came in as an unproven rookie. Now there's even some Heisman talk. The fans, a lot of the writers, the expectations on you are just so massive right now. What's that been like, kind of trying to?
That's something I let the media and the fans take care of. I don't really pay too much attention of it. it's a new year. I have to prove myself. This year, the past and history isn't going to take care of this year wins. So, I just have to take it and get better.
Is that a burden on you at all, being so high on everybody's radar?
No. Like I said, I really don't pay too much attention to it. If that time's come and I'm one of those contenders, then I'm happy. But not, then I have to worry about my team first. So.
Can having the coach from the sidelines, can that improve your leadership on the field when you do make it back home?
Of course, I think so. Just getting that trust again from all the other players, teaching up the new guys, because you never know when that time is going to come for those younger guys to come. So they have to learn on the fly too. So you just becoming a leader and a coach on the sideline will transfer my games.
What are your early impressions of those younger quarterbacks?
The first day was good. It's a lot to learn. It's a process, and no one's gonna be perfect on the first day. Even on the in the middle of spring practice, it's not gonna be perfect. So each day you just got to get better.
Having gone through this just a year ago, what do you kind of pass on to those guys as far as advice?
As advice, just go out there and try to learn every day. Watch film and just try to get better.
All set?
Thank you.